All right, in today's video, I'm gonna go over exactly how I read one book every single day. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Tanich. In my 20s, I built a 7-figure marketing agency. In my 30s, I'm giving all the marketing information away for free through my free newsletter called The Midweek Marketer. If you'd like to sign up for that, click the link in the description below. All right, if you're anything like me, you're probably pretty busy, you have a lot going on, and reading a book just seems, honestly, pretty daunting. But you know, as an entrepreneur or business owner, or just anyone in general, reading a book is a great way to compress a bunch of information into your mind. By reading a book, you're able to take years and years of experience that the writer had and compress it all down into a book, and then you're able to take that and process it into your brain. Now, I know I'm being super generic here, but if you take something like $100 Million Leads, like Alex Hormozi's book, and you read the entire book, it's essentially over a decade-long worth of experience that Alex has had building multiple businesses and jamming all his thoughts on how to bring in leads for your business into one book. So what's cool about it is essentially you're able to take a decade worth of experience and learn it all and not have to go through years and years and years of doing it personally yourself. So obviously there's a huge benefit to reading books, but how do you get through them quicker? Personally, I have a couple ways that I go through books very quickly, and I'll go through those in a second. But the reason I got to this point is I've always struggled to finish a book. I'll pick it up, I'll try and read it at night, probably fall asleep. It just takes too long for me with everything I have going on to compress all that information and read it slowly and get it into my brain. And unfortunately, Neuralink isn't a thing yet, so I can't put a chip in my head and just have all the information already. All right, let's go over the 3 things that I do to read books a heck of a lot faster than most people. The first one is speed reading. Our brains can pull out a lot more information than we think they can. So the point is when you're reading, we've been taught you read from left to right. You basically read every single word, pull out almost every single letter, comprehend it, and go through, right? As we get older, we've obviously know what majority of these words means. We've seen them thousands, if not millions of times already. So being able to speed read is a huge way to just expedite this process of reading a book. Now, obviously, this takes some practice, but if you read the first word on the line and the last word on the line and quickly graze through everything else and just go down the page like that, what your brain does is it automatically populates what it thinks that sentence means. You'll get a rough understanding of it and be able to put the whole thought process together of that page. Obviously, this takes some practice, but what your brain's doing is essentially you're pulling out the pertinent information and then the brain's filling in the blank spaces. That way you don't have to manually go and read every single filler word, and your brain's just filling in those filler words into those blank spaces. All right, so that's the first way you can quickly read through a book. The second way is actually my personal favorite, and that is listening to audiobooks on a higher speed. All right, so whether it's an audiobook or a podcast or a YouTube video, there are speeds in which you can listen to that audio. On YouTube, for example, you can go up to 2x speed. On things like Spotify, on podcasts, you can go up to 3x speed. In principle, this takes essentially what you're doing with your first one and with the speed reading and doing it in an audio format. So your brain's listening to the audio, it's going a lot faster than what it normally can process, and is pulling out the pertinent information and filling in the blank spaces. Now, it takes some time to build up to it, so what I would suggest is listening to it on 1.25, then 1.5, and then 1.75, and then 2, and then on. Personally, I can listen to things on 3x speed now, and I've built up to that point. But what's great about it is there's a lot of speakers out there, there are a lot of people out there that speak very, very slowly. Alex Hormozi, for example, speaks very, very slowly, which is fine. However, when you listen to things on 3x speed and you get used to it, it compresses that audio time of listening to it to about a third of what it would take if you listened to it on 1x. And listening to someone that's speaking slow on 3x speed or 2x speed is like listening to someone that speaks fast. The reason I love this so much is I can take an audiobook that's about 3 hours long, and if I listen to it on 2x speed, I can listen to the whole thing in an hour and a half. And if I listen to it on 3x speed, I can get basically a 3-hour book and done in 45 minutes. And when I work out in the morning, I typically work out for about 45 minutes. So I pop my headphones on, pull up Audible, and listen to an audiobook on 3x speed, and I get through an entire book in one sitting. Same thing with cutting the grass, same thing with going out and driving, going for a run. Whatever you do, where you can listen to audio, sit there and actually process what's being said to you, that's where you can go and listen to things at 2, maybe even 3x speed and get through an entire audiobook within less than an hour. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. The third one is a combination of both of these, but allows you to actually process the information better. And that third one is listening to the audio on 2 or 3x speed and reading it. Now, I very rarely do this one because I just don't really have the time to sit down and read through everything. And if I do want to sit down and read, I'm more just doing it as a speed reading just for the fun of it, instead of actually trying to sit down and process a bunch of information. However, if you're able to sit down and you really want to process the information, but you want to do it quickly, speed reading it while listening to your audio on a higher speed allows you to process that information a lot better than just these two separately. Personally, if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur or someone that's looking to learn a bunch of information quickly, one of these options is by far the best way to go about it. Before doing these things, I would maybe get 2 books done a year, maybe 3, just because of the time piece of it, being able to sit down actually reading it, and the point of being able to even process the information, because after a little bit, because it was so slow, my brain would just get bored of it and I would just end up putting the book down. Once I introduce the audio on 3x speed, I go through about 2 to 3 books a week. Honestly, I could probably listen to more books than that in a week, but it's just, I run kind of out of the topics that I want to listen to with those audiobooks. All right, so that's how I process 1 book every single day through one of these strategies. Like I mentioned at the beginning, if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter called the Midweek Marketer and get 1 actual marketing strategy to your email inbox every single week, sign up in the link in the description below. If you'd like to check out my last video, click here. If not, I will see you in the next one.